instead of talking about blockchain technology as a what if or could it be, it's now becoming a much more sort of accepted form of technology that people will be using.
One of my sayings is, we're building a new digital financial infrastructure for a new digital world. That financial infrastructure will include
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we're going to be discussing and talking about how the entire financial landscape is undergoing a massive transformation and how everything is going digital.
Consolidated digital interface to interact with all of their assets, I would say. And I think, I don't want to butcher the number, but I think before the Bitcoin ETFs were approved, something like 94% of all crypto buying was millennials and Gen Z. And like things move more digital, right? They're not going to move backwards. They're not going to get less digital as wealth transfers from the boomer side over to millennials, Gen Z, younger than that. I don't even know what the next one is. But it'll all be more and more digital. And the importance of having, tokenized stocks, individual loans, Bitcoin, crypto generally, and other assets in one interface, unlocking it with the power of DeFi for kind of, 24/7 access, let's call it, and real precise management is huge. And I think that's the real macro value driver that a lot of people kind of miss. They don't think about that. They think about products standalone, not the broader trend of, hey, every asset's going to get managed in this way, one way or another.
And how right now we are at a very interesting turning point where this is not the time to be afraid. This is the time to back your analysis and your conviction in this digital asset ecosystem with research via institutional insights. And if you don't know where to go to find them, tap in with us here at CYPRX. So this is going to be a very important video breakdown. If you guys enjoy these videos, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Seriously, you guys and gals, pay attention to this video. We're going to be showing you guys institutional insights that will never reach the mainstream. And it does go a very long way when you do us that favor and you smash that thumbs up button. For some odd reason, the vast majority of social media platforms that we have here at CYPRX seem to be shadow banned. Something is blocking our algorithm. And so it does go a very long way and help this platform reach a broader audience when you engage with our video breakdowns, whether it's in the comments or by giving this video a thumbs up. With that being said, right now, here is the truth. Manipulative tactics are being used more than ever to steer your attention away from what truly matters. Distractions are at an all-time high, and fear is being sold to you on every single platform. Now, however, is not the time for fear. Now is the time for solid research-backed conviction. Now is the time to focus on institutional fundamentals and the bigger picture. If you don't understand what actually moves these markets, and if you're caught watching the noise instead of following the data, you are going to miss possibly one of the biggest wealth transformations, if not I'm pretty sure it is the biggest wealth transformation of our lifetime, right? That is exactly why we built CYPRX, to give retail traders access to the same level of insights that institutions use to stay ahead of the curve. So in today's video breakdown, I'm going to show you guys real institutional grade fundamentals that will never reach the mainstream media. This is information that is designed to help you navigate and adapt and capitalize on this new digital world. So we're going to be listening to individual representatives from JP Morgan, UBS, Bank of England today tell you guys that all of this stuff is happening. And it's insights that will, again, never reach the mainstream. So make sure that you watch the entirety of today's video breakdown. Starting back just to show you guys here at CYPRX that we deliver real valuable insights when they matter the most. I just want to take you back in most recent times. We know that due to the Israel-Iran United States conflict, we saw a sharp sell-off in global risk assets as of recent. Here is a post from June 22nd where I gave you guys an entire fundamental breakdown from our private community, updated resources, where I told you guys when the market was trading at the local bottom, a de-escalation or positive headlines of tariffs, relief, no retaliations could flip the market mood back risk on. And I said the strategy here is that I'm going to continue to monitor these macro drivers and use any dips driven by fear to scale into discounted opportunities while staying mindful that news can shift sentiment sharply in either direction. Now, I'm not saying that the bottom is in by any means. We have to understand that fundamentals, if they do sour and create a risk off market mood, could lead to a sharp sell off in global risk assets yet again. But as of recent, there have been positive announcements surrounding these most recent fundamentals, and that has flipped the market back risk on. Here is an entire video breakdown that I also released on June 22nd when the market was at a bottom, showing you guys those insights, what was creating the market turmoil, and what would potentially turn the market mood around. As you guys can see, here is TradingView when I posted these out to you guys, telling you all not to be fearful, to be mindful of the fundamentals and understand the macro picture, and utilizing the TradingView tab, you guys can see that these posts came in at exactly the local bottom. This is why it's so important for you guys to pay attention and not feed into the fear-driven narratives and understand the broader picture. Understand what's creating the sell-offs in the market, when it's time to be dollar cost averaging in and implementing capital into these markets. In our private community, the vast majority of our portfolios are now up in terms of value appreciation because we know when to deploy our capital reserves and when to sit on our hands and wait for market opportunities by simply tracking these fundamentals. Sure enough, moving forward, here we can see a retail-based article coming out days after, right? So I put out all that information telling you guys to focus on strategy, focus on avoiding fear-driven narratives, and focus on the data and understanding what moves these markets. Now you can see, fast forward, a retail-based article always catching up. This is from the 25th of June. Bitcoin now recovers to 105K on Israel-Iran ceasefire. Is 110K next, right? So I'm just here to show you guys that these fear-driven dip buying opportunities should be seen as exactly that, opportunities, by understanding that the underlying fundamentals in crypto have never been this bullish. If you don't understand the current market conditions and the fundamentals that weigh on market sentiment intraday, risk on, risk off, then you could possibly fall victim to being manipulated out of your positions and thinking that crypto is a scam, when in reality, it's the complete opposite. For the first time ever, we're seeing verbal confirmation from some of the world's largest organizations in this day and age. Here is a video clip that recently took place, Jerome Powell's testimony to Congress, where he gave verbal confirmation for the first time in history that banks can now participate in crypto. Take a second and listen.
I wouldn't be the one to be picking that up first, but what I do see is a very significant change in the tone. And it really does reflect evolving thinking and the evolving status of the crypto industry. And I would expect over time we'll see more activity.
How is the Fed evaluating and overseeing banks or other regulated entities that are in the digital assets or crypto space?
So our view is that banks get to decide who their customers are. That's not our decision. So banks are free to provide banking services to the crypto industry, to crypto companies. And banks are also free to conduct crypto activities as long as they do so in a way that is, protective of safety and soundness.
That is major verbal confirmation. On top of that, we're also seeing for the first time in history, global organizations, the likes of Grayscale, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of England, and many others out there confirm that crypto is going to be embedded into this new financial system that they are building out for a fact. They are creating a new world and they're telling people directly to their faces, but they're covering it up with public distractions like war escalations, tariff implications, so on and so forth. So I said here to you guys in this post, pay attention. The entire mood has shifted. People are not bullish enough. Financial advisors and wealth managers now face asymmetric risk if they do not have a plan or even an opinion in crypto. Who is this coming from? This is coming directly from Grayscale Investments. At CoinDesk Consensus, Grayscale's David Laville spoke to a growing urgency for advisors to address crypto in their clients' strategies. And he specifically said exactly what I just mentioned. Financial advisors and wealth managers now face asymmetric risk if they don't have a plan or have an opinion in crypto. Taking your attention over here, shout out to the CYPRX researchers for this. These are the type of insights that we tap into in the private CYPRX community. This is an unlisted YouTube video breakdown that only has 38 views from June 5th, 2025 via the London Blockchain Conference. The only way that you can see this video breakdown is if you are given a link privately to watch this video. This video is not publicly available, meaning that the general public will never have any idea that highly reputable individuals are saying these things, telling you all directly to your faces that they are building a new world. And this is physical proof that they are gatekeeping this information, which is why it's so important for you guys to be a part of a community that taps into these types of insights. Here in the CYPRX private community, the research team, which is global, is constantly sharing information like this on a daily basis. Hundreds of non-mainstream fundamentals that never go noticed via the general public that you guys can tap into by heading over to CYPRXtrading.com and tapping into our private Discord. So who are we going to be listening to real fast? I'm going to play 2 video breakdowns back to back that are going to just completely obliterate any fear that you might have lingering operating in crypto right now. So taking a look at the panelists here. All right. This is Anthony Clark Jones. He works currently at UBS Investment Bank full time. We're also going to be listening to Emma Lovett, who has been working at JP Morgan for 22 years and markets DLT and as an executive director. Okay. I have a feeling that you should be paying attention to somebody that's been working at JP Morgan pretty much almost, if you're a viewer and you're only in your 20s, since you've been alive, right? She's probably witnessed a lot, including the financial crisis that took place back in 2008 to 2010, right? We're also going to be listening to this gentleman here, Kishore Bullock, who sits on this panel. He is directly from the Bank of England. And last but not least, this gentleman here, who is a representative from Pearpoint and Vodafone, David Palmer. All right. So just take a second and listen to wrap up today's video breakdown to show you guys why now is not the time to be fearful. And instead, it is the time to tap into these types of insights via a community that is here to show you guys and lead the way in crypto research and institutional insights, that there's no point in being afraid of these market dips that take place, which might not be over yet. There might be a couple of different headwinds that we still have to experience and live through over the coming months before we can really see institutional adoption at a large granular scale. I want you just to take a look at the rhetoric. They're smiling, they're laughing, they're happy. They don't seem the slightest bit worried of the market turmoil that the rest of the retail crowd might be experiencing when the market does pull back. Take a second here and listen.
Talk a little bit more, but I think what Anthony was talking about in terms of it's not around the technology anymore, we're really at a pivotal moment in terms of the scale at which DLT is going to be used. Rachel Reeves announced in her Mansion House speech in November 2024 that the UK would be issuing a digital gilt. Larry Fink, the chairman and CEO of BlackRock, wrote in his letter to investors at the beginning of 2025 that he views tokenization as sort of a key fragment of the future of the financial services industry. So we're at a time when instead of talking about blockchain technology as a what if or could it be, it's now becoming a much more sort of accepted form of technology that people will be using as sort of things evolve and we move forward.
So she pretty much confirmed that this is not an if scenario. It is a when scenario. This is not a matter of if anymore. It's just a matter of when, right? This is all happening at a very rapid pace, and it would behoove you guys to pay attention and not financial advice. Use the opportunities when the market becomes discounted due to some fear-driven narrative that is pumped and manipulating the masses to take advantage of positioning yourselves on the right side of history. Again, not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy crypto. Assess your own personal risk properly and do research on what digital assets you think are going to survive well into 2030 and beyond. But at the end of the day, it is time to do research. It is not time to be driven by fear and manipulation, which is exactly what the herd and the retail masses are being driven by. With that being said, I'll play this last video clip from this gentleman here. David, take a second and listen to him mention specifically that they are building out a new world.
So the cryptocurrency market capitalization or size over 3 trillion. right? Depending on, I know we have these variations, so depending on, this morning when I got up, it was over 320. It may have gone down or up by now. If you look at another statistic, digital wallets, we're expecting by 2030 to have 5.6 billion digital wallets, right, in operation. And if you look at one more statistic, which sort of mentions what will indicate why we're involved, mobile phones, right? We're expecting over 8 billion mobile phones to be in operation by 2030, right? You start putting these technologies together, you have the wallet, which is the interaction point, or the wallet and AI agents in the future, the interaction point for financial services. So that side of the business is changing. If you look at the cryptocurrency market, digital ownership, that is certainly coming into play. And of course, everything needs to be connected, which is why we're involved. In terms of real world applications of blockchain, the focus for us has always been on convergence, right? So, one of my sayings is, we're building a new digital financial infrastructure for a new digital world. We're building a new digital financial infrastructure for a new digital world. That financial infrastructure will include connectivity, it will include fintech, it will include blockchain, it will include AI, right? These are the things that we're putting together to manage that infrastructure going forwards. And it will be, part of the competitive advantage.
So again, this is verbal confirmation that they are building a new financial infrastructure and creating an entirely new world that is digitally native with all of these new technologies. Keep in mind, this is like such a massive statement that the world should be able to see, but this video breakdown is private, only has 38 views. And here in the private CYPRX community, I'd say that probably half of these views are CYPRX community members that now have these insights so they can make the properly informed decisions to stay involved in this space, even during the market turmoil, because they know what the real institutions are paying attention to, the people that are actually helping build out this new system, which is why it's so important that you guys pay attention and participate with the right communities that are focused on the right fundamentals. As always, bringing you guys some of the realest research and information in the game that nobody else in this space has access to. Do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. And keep in mind, if you guys ever want access to these types of insights, you guys can always access them via our CYPRX research section in our private Discord by heading over to CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. Many blessings to you guys. Remember, none of this is financial advice, but what I do ask you guys is that you are not driven by fear, and instead you back your conviction and your investment decisions in this space by solid foundational research that is readily available to each and every single person, so you choose to take the right routes to find it. As always, many blessings, be cognizant, be aware, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.